Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to me, your host, Christian Watson. So, my friends, the king has fallen. His castle has tumbled and crumbled, and it is now being swallowed up by the earth. The fates have spoken. What am I talking about in this very overly poetic prose? What I'm talking about is the fate of Governor Andrew Cuomo, whose governorship could be mistaken as a kingship if one looked very closely at the activities of his administration. And I'll go into some of those later. But for those of you who have not known, who may be under a rock, or who just may not be following the sort of political drama of our season, Andrew Cuomo is resigning from his spot as governor of New York amid the confirmation of allegations by the New York Attorney General that he has sexually harassed multiple women in his employ. There was one woman that came forward, and there were several aides that came forward as well to confirm Mr. Cuomo's handsy and predatory behavior. But what was most interesting was to see the discourse that flowed from this decision, the discourse surrounding the term Cuomosexual. For those of you who do not know, there were a rash of people in high society like Trevor Noah who were using the word Cuomosexual as a means of showing their affection for Governor Cuomo's stalwart, Teflon attitude towards President Donald Trump and towards the pandemic. In fact, Trevor Noah mused that he may very well go for Cuomo because of how wonderful he was doing. Now, I don't see people actually interrogating why that term had any place in the discourse in the first place and how that term came to be. I always say, my friends, what lies beneath? What is the truth? The truth most oftentimes has glimmers and signs on the surface, but most of the time, those glimmers and signs are simply the gateway to a broader revelation that only takes place when you go forward to investigate it. We're not doing that philosophical inquiry, so let me attempt to do it. My friends, when people hold a certain political view, they typically append their political views and values to someone who they perceive is fighting for them. That's why there is some sort of affection for some politicians. Many people like Barack Obama because he represents the views and values of having an African American, someone who, according to the woke, is historically oppressed and marginalized, and therefore to be in a position of power represents an overcoming, represents a sort of triumph over circumstance. And there are people who idolize Obama for that reason. There are people who idolize Bernie Sanders because they view him as the mascot of every indictment, every damning indictment they have of corporations, they have of capitalism, because Bernie Sanders is speaking their language. We tend to use mouthpieces. We tend to append the role of a mouthpiece to politicians so they can go ahead and carry our values forth into policy. And this gets us into idolatry. For every single person on the left, and I presume there may have been folks on the right, but I've seen people on the left doing this, who call themselves a Cuomosexual. They lack the insight and the discernment, which is quite common in our political discourse, to see a politician separate from the values we append on those politicians, and therefore they deify and idolize these politicians. Why is this bad? Because, my friends, values are much bigger, much stronger, much more expansive, and much more meaningful than what can be contained in a single person. Principles are much stronger, much more meaningful, and much more valuable than what can be contained in a single person, especially a politician. Because when we talk about politicians, we're not simply talking about what you believe, what they believe. We're also talking about the numerous political calculations that surround the decision making. It was the political calculation of Cuomo to go ahead and dump a bunch of people in the nursing homes because he thought that'd be the best thing to do, and ended up killing a lot of folks. It was the political calculations of Cuomo to shut down counties or put mandates into counties that restricted people's ability to move and buy and sell and do things freely, as we are wont to do in our nature. Counties that didn't even have a high infection rate, which is why a judge had to overturn Cuomo's ruling, albeit on a utilitarian basis, had to overturn Cuomo's ruling and say the governor's administration has no basis for these mandates in these areas where COVID isn't even that bad. It was the sense of Cuomo to tell a reporter who asked him if parents in New York could send their kids to be educated, a consideration which a governor or a politician has no moral legitimacy to claim over. It was his sense to say, you need to go ahead and watch your tone. Go ahead and let's be careful with your tone. And then when another reporter came in to defend him, he said, I don't care what you think. Pompous, arrogant, full of himself, overrun with the passions, as the ancients would say. And then you have people legitimizing his overly passionate self by deifying him and sexualizing him and eroticizing him. The truth is, my friends, Andrew Cuomo was only possible. And the immoral actions and inconsiderate actions he undertook as a governor were only possible because there is a long tradition of idol worship in American politics. And when you idolize someone, your epistemology, your relationship with knowledge, your ability to understand what is right and wrong, your ability to discern truth for what it is, independent of your biases, all of that goes away when you idolize someone, because ultimately their image and their preservation becomes much more important of information and maybe disfavorable to them. And of course, look, we all like people in our lives. We all admire people. And there are some folks who we will see for their good side more than we'll see their flaws. This happens, yes. But when it's in a political context, it can allow injustice to reign. It can allow immoral behavior to reign. That's the story of this Cuomo resignation. The story that eventually the image comes crumbling down, The pain is lifted, the wall is lifted, and reality reigns. Because the reality is, Cuomo is doing some very despicable things, both in the public eye, as I mentioned, berating reporters, putting people in nursing homes, locking down places that have no justification whatsoever, and in the private eye, i.e. sexually harassing people. And yet we wanted to simply focus on the image of what he was. The idolized image, the manicured image we created in our minds. This is how tyranny is created. This government, the United States government and all of its constituent governments in the states, is predicated upon morality, ethics, principles, and not upon people. We must not forget that. If we forget that, governments will continue to expand beyond their intended purpose. Governments will continue to violate rights. And strong men like Cuomo will continue with their overinflated egos to act with impunity until their image comes crashing down and their followers are left dismayed. My friends, the truth about Cuomo is almost all of us could enable someone like Cuomo. And in many ways, a lot of us have, even if we didn't know it. Don't enable pompousness. Don't enable someone to be an idol or a deity. Treat politicians as they're supposed to be treated in their proper function, as servants of the principles of our Constitution, or don't treat them with anything, because anything else, anything less or anything more than treating them as supposed to be treated can result in conditions that endanger the foundations of our republic. And if it's up to me, with my voice and my philosophy, I'm not going to let that happen. Neither should you. Think on it. My friends, I love you guys so much. If you love me, patreon.com/officialcwatson or PayPal, officialcwatson@gmail.com, or locals, christianwatsonlocals.com, or Discord, which is in the comment section down below. I love you guys so much, and please stay pensive. Bye, guys.